You're a prick.
Hey, hello, how's it going, everyone? That was the teaser for the thing that I posted like on Twitter, but I didn't post here quite exactly, so I thought I should post it. How's it going? Hey, out to the Sting. I'm getting questions on Twitter too. But yes, this is me. I'm live. Hello. Why? Oh, that's what it is. It's like another one. I don't understand how this stuff works. But yes. Hello, people. How's it going? How's life? What have you guys been up to? Huh? This is my new setup. And by the way, if you watched the podcast episode, you saw it. Thanks, Drifty. Hey, Drifty. This is my new setup. Look at this place. You can't see the stuff here. But yeah, look at this little like TV with a thing. And then I got a window, and then I got a poster. And then if you look a little carefully here, I don't know if I can bring this camera out. I think I can. Like a little. Hey Alec. I have 3 posters up here. I posted them on Twitter. Those are kind of just for me, but I have them and it's nice. I don't know. It's not like a super stream setup, but it's something. I think it's a start. But yeah, I don't know. I put this for questions. I was just kind of bored, and I posted the short film, and I want to know what people thought, and I wanted to hang out. Because I don't know what I'm going to post next, so I thought I should do this just for once in a while. But yeah, ask me questions. I got a couple questions from Twitter too. I wanted to talk about like the Netflix stuff that was going out recently. So, opinions on Krasinski as an MCU Mr. Fantastic. Oh boy. I mean, he's not gonna be the Mr. Fantastic for the movie. I'm assuming he's not gonna be the Mr. Fantastic for the movie because I feel like that would be kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't like it. I think it would be mildly dumb. And I think they have a lot of other better choices in terms of who they could pick. Because I feel like in the actual movie, he's not great. I don't know. He's not great in the movie. He's okay for like the 2 scenes he's in, and then that's it. But like he doesn't. It just feels like he's reading lines, and I'm assuming that's because he is just reading lines. He showed up to set, and then I don't know who was the script supervisor that day. Probably not Raimi, because Raimi was too busy. I don't know, making art. Some dude shows up to him and just goes, "Okay, here are the lines that you need to say. Doctor Strange in the multiverse of something. You have to do this, Doctor Strange," and that's probably all he did. So he didn't even probably get the chance to really perform the way he wanted to. He probably just was there to do the lines and then call it good. But I don't know if he's. When you think of Mr. Fantastic, you're not thinking of like Nano Movies made a good point where he was like, when you think of Reed as compared to people like Tony, Tony is charismatic. Tony is like he has this moments where he's kind of an asshole, but for the most part, he makes it up with his quirky sense of humor. Where Reed is like a nerd, but he's very serious. He's very serious about what he studies. He's very serious about how he acts. I didn't read a lot of OG Fantastic Four, and I wish I did. But the one thing I kind of grew up with was early Ultimate Fantastic Four, before that version of Reed turned into the Maker, just like the early bits of it, where I feel like, that the Ultimate Fantastic Four goes off in a direction, but at least like at the start of that series, it still feels like the Fantastic Four, like a younger Fantastic Four. And that version of Reed is very serious. He's very serious. He's very grounded in what he's doing. And yes, he's with Sue, but that does not distract him from like his work. And that's kind of his big character flaw. I don't know if John Krasinski can do that, we haven't seen John Krasinski really do that, you know? It's like, honestly, between Dwight and Jim, Reed probably has more similarities with Dwight. You know what I mean? And the strength of those two characters in The Office is that they're very like diametrically opposed characters that have like a kinship. So like, I don't know. I just don't see it working. He could do well. He could also not do well. He directed A Quiet Place and he was great at that, but he's not directing the Fantastic Four, so why would he be a part of it? I don't know. I'm sure we'll see him again as Mr. Fantastic. Probably like they'll crapshoot him in something, but I don't see it going past that. You know. Chicken Bone Slap. Thank you, Sai. I'll do this thing. Thank you as well. Yeah, we shot that like. Yeah, we shot that probably like a month ago at this point. It was a while since we filmed that, and it was fun. It was really just a test for, I guess, Moralia now. And we've already shot a little bit of Moralia. Hey, Doug. But yeah, it was fun. And I feel like it could have been more technically proficient, and we could have definitely done better with the audio because Jesus Christ, the audio is terrible. But I'm still proud of it. I still think it's a nice little look into this character you're definitely going to see more of. So if you have questions on Moralia, I will answer some of them, not all of them. I don't know if people really have questions about it. It's just my own fucking thing. That like, who cares? But if you have questions about it, I will ask. I will try to answer them. Hey Tyler. Thoughts on Madam Web and the bizarre leaks? Okay, are those real? I don't know how much of that is real. I think I mentioned it either on the podcast or on something else. I don't. So the guy from Parks and Rec is playing Uncle Ben, or is he playing? No, yeah, he's playing Uncle Ben, and then one of the other people on the cast is playing Peter's mom. And I guess if you don't want anything, leave, I guess, or just keep me on mute for a few seconds. It turns out that the movie might be about protecting Peter's like Peter before he's born, and like protecting Peter's mom so that he can still become Spider-Man or something like that, which is a very Spider-Verse-y like pitch, you know? Adam Scott. Yeah, Adam Scott. I don't know why I forgot Adam Scott's name. But like, I know, okay, Tyler, I know Adam Scott. I know who he is. I haven't watched all of Parks and Rec, but I watched episodes with him, and I know who he is. And I think I've watched him in something else. I know who Adam Scott is. The name escaped me. Please don't attack me, please. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, like the original Spider-Verse story is about like the vampire fuckos like coming into the worlds and killing all the Peters. So like, I guess it kind of makes sense in that vein if they're gonna go with something, you know, with Madam Web and she's like protecting the web, and then one of these Morlun or one of these vampire dudes comes in and it kills a Peter, and then they're going after this Peter, and it's like the mainline Peter or something. I don't know. It could work. It is interesting in concept. It is just, what do they execute with it? And the problem with all of these Sony movies is that like the execution for the most part has been terrible. You got a Craven movie. On paper, okay, maybe that doesn't work, but the more you think about it, maybe there's something there about like a movie about this guy who's like a hunter and he's coming to terms with, you know, the way he's hunting or some bullshit. Or like Venom is like a dumb, stupid comedy, which it does do that at points. Or like Morbius. Morbius, yes, it's a meme movie and we like to meme on it, but also think about this. They could make a great like vampire movie. But instead of choosing to make a vampire movie, they chose to make a superhero movie. Why would you make a superhero movie with Marvel's like deadliest vampire? I don't understand that. And that's the problem with a lot of these movies, is they take a premise that like you could, not even the premise, just a concept that you could do something cool with, and then just squander it by trying to make an MCU movie. So I don't know. If Madam Web is less MCU movie and more, I know I'm a fan of it because the poster's over there. If it's more Mission Impossible, then I think it has a better chance of being a good movie. But the more it keeps being a quote superhero movie, I think that's going to doom this movie to fail from the start. Once again, WBD made another tax off another project. The project was Final Space. I think I heard about that. I didn't know the full context behind it, but I know there were a lot of projects that got canceled alongside Batgirl, and that's just the one that took the heat of it because it's the big project, you know? Morbius, honestly, should have been a vampire horror movie with Morbius as an antagonist. Yeah, exactly. That's what I saw people saying they wanted. The Doctor Who guy, Matt Smith. They wanted him to be Morbius, and honestly, that kind of makes more sense. You get the guy who's like a real creepy vampire to be the guy who's like, I don't know, being a creepy vampire, because that's what Morbius is. He's a creepy vampire, and instead, he was only creepy behind the scenes because he's Jared Leto. I have a question. What's your favorite piece of filmmaking gear you don't have? Coda was shot on a Rokinon 35mm lens for the most part, and I love the look of that visually. I think when I made Coda, I overcolor graded the shit out of it, and that's one of Coda's flaws. Is it's why is my hair horrible? Coda is very over color graded. You know, like I oversaturated it, I over contrasted it, and I feel like if I ever do a re-edit of these movies, wink, wink, nod, nod, I would probably tone a lot of that down. But the actual footage with that actual lens, I love that lens. Me and Dalen, who's my cinematographer, we constantly talk about how that was just, it was amazing working with that lens. And so if I buy new filmmaking gear, which I might, that's definitely on the list. I really hope they give Daredevil justice in the MCU. I'm doubtful, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah, here's the thing with Daredevil in the MCU. I have started watching Daredevil. I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then for some reason, I don't know, I never really super kept up with it. I don't know why. It's a great show, but just for some reason, I don't know, I never really kept up with it. But I started watching again from like episode 2 or episode 3, and now I'm at the episode where it just ended with Fisk being introduced when he's looking at the painting. I'm like, okay, shit, I get it. It's a very slow show, but I think that's kind of the point, right? And I'm optimistic it will get faster too. But I don't know if it was Troy that was saying this or someone else that was saying this, where it's like, I think I remember when Daredevil came out where people were like, whoa, season 1's awesome. And then season 2 came out and people were like, season 2 is kind of terrible. And then season 3 came out and people were a little bit mixed on season 3. But then now, like about 4 years later from all of that, people look back on the show and go, fuck, no, this was the best thing that happened to us in the world. And that is either a symbol of two things. One, this is a show that has aged tremendously well over the course of the past few years. But two, our standards for entertainment have like really gone down. Like really gone down. If like we go from having a show at a certain standard, like people religiously adore Daredevil, you know, that didn't come from nowhere. But at the same time, why now instead of 4 years ago, right? I think it is because our standards have kind of went down for the media we consume. Which I know I love No Way Home, but I don't love No Way Home for its filmmaking elements. You know, I don't love it for the visuals. I like the soundtrack a lot, but I don't love it for the soundtrack, the way it bleeds into the cinematography. I love it because on a baseline, it's a really cool story and they execute it pretty well. So it's one of those things now where that execution has fallen by the wayside, which is why we look at stuff like Daredevil, which has been executed amazingly. And even if I think people don't agree with every single story point, they don't care because it was beautiful when it happened. So, what else did I miss in here? I am almost done with 100%ing Lego Batman again on Xbox. Yes, do it. Do it. I never played on Xbox. I don't know about any people in here. I don't know how to use an Xbox controller properly. I grew up on PS3. Yeah. And so I played Lego Batman on PS3. And then I played what else did I play on PS3? What else did I play on PS3? I played this surfing game. Then I played in the duck game. It was like a mobile game that they put for PS3, I guess. But I played Sonic, the one where he turns into a beast. That one I played on PS3, and I'm so used to using two joysticks with my thumbs in the center. That's the base design for a just a general PS controller. There's two joysticks at the bottom, and your hands on the triggers here, and then buttons at the side when you need them. Right? The buttons here are secondary. You don't usually use them. You're mainly using the joystick here and the buttons here, but sometimes you're using the joystick here. That's how PS controllers work. When you use Xbox controllers, there's a joystick here and then also a joystick all the way over here. And I have just never gotten used to that, like ever. Like I tried playing, I think it was Dark Souls or something on one of my friend's computers, which he modded with like an Xbox controller. And I couldn't get the hang of it because I was like, what, how am I supposed, it just, the balance fell off, you know? And I know people who have played Xbox all their lives are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're dumb. I don't know. I'm just not used to it, I guess. That's all I can say. So I don't know. If I ever get a PS4 / a PS5, that'll be my bread and butter. I just want Arkham Knight again. I just want to play Arkham Knight again. This computer that I'm using can barely fucking stream. So I don't know when that's happening, but sometime I will play Arkham Knight again. All right. Ask me more questions. Someone give me more questions. I also have Twitter questions. People ask me a bunch of Twitter questions, so I can look at Twitter questions. I don't want to share slides. That's interesting, though. I could share slides on here. I can add an extra camera. I don't have an extra camera, but I could add one if I had one. Actually, no, that camera doesn't work. Okay, before I answer questions, I'll do this. Arkham Knight, but mod in the Earth 2 Adam West costumes. I have not seen that, but if you want to send me a link to that, I will take a look at it because I don't know what that looks like. I know what the Adam West costumes look like on Arkham Knight, but I thought those were just the defaults. I don't know the Earth 2 mod. Earth 2 and Adam West costumes. Oh, okay. I think I know what the Earth 2 costume looks like. That was new, right? I want to say that was new. Important question, Saeg asks. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Saeg, maybe, or Saeg. Can you tell me where Moralia fits in the Coda cinematic universe? This is an interesting question because no one really gives a fuck unless you're working on these movies. So me, let's be honest. I talk with Dalen a lot about this. I bet he sometimes doesn't even give a fuck. But the story of this quote unquote universe, I don't like calling it a universe because the scope is really just a couple hitmen, right? That's how it was perceived. Even the way I conceived the story was just the deal. The first thing was the deal, you know, and it was just this kind of businessman-y dude shows up. He's full of himself. And then, you know, this guy named Dan is just trying to do his job. And then he screws him over by fucking him over on the deal. And then that's how the deal happens. And you know, karma, he gets shot in the face. And then that's the end of it. That's the initial pitch. But then from there, it's always been expanding, you know? Yes, I will wait for you to be back. I'll do this thing. But as I've started to expand this universe, I've decided to focus specifically on specific characters. You know, the deal was specific, you could say, to Dan because he's your POV, but you jump between a lot of these different settings in the scope of like 5 minutes. With like Payback, I focused on Dan. I was like, he is the main character of these stories. Let me focus on this character, right? And even Coda, the focus is still on Dan. It is his story. So the sequence order does go from the deal to Payback to I did something Ebenezer or whatever, and then Coda. Those are like the two linchpins of the deal starts it and Coda ends the story of Dan, right? Dan's story is over. This is the end of Dan's story. He thought he got rid of me. His life is ruined and he went on the run, right? And he needs to just get with his life after that. Dan's story is that. It's the story, to me, And I don't know how well it's in the execution because that's up to you guys to decide. But to me, the story has always been for him kind of struggling with the balance between being a hitman and trying to have a normal life, trying to have it both, and then completely ruining it, right? That is Dan's story. Moralia is me in The Prick. That is how I see Moralia. And I cannot expand too much on it, but all I will say in these 5 episodes, you really start to understand who my character is. Because my character's always been kind of like he's just been like a dumb bitch at the sidelines, who's acting like a clown. People make the Joker comparisons because I'm sometimes trying to be the Joker, but I don't see the Prick as the Joker. Even from the inception, he was never meant to be named the Prick. It's honestly just Harry who was playing Dan. Instead of saying I'm an asshole in the script, he said I'm a prick instead, and it just kind of stuck. So the way I've always perceived this character is just he's kind of a whiny, up his own ass, like businessman dude who thinks he knows what he has in life and thinks he knows what he wants in life, and has just like, I don't know, kind of he doesn't actually know what he wants in life. And so every single part of this journey with him and Dan has been him not knowing what he wants to do, only to just focus on Dan and to take all of his angers out on this one guy, right? Moralia is the exploration of that, of why. Why is the Prick this character? Why is the Prick acting this way? And each episode will stand on its own in an effort to explain that. So that's my explanation of it. It takes place at the end of all of this. It started with the deal, then it went to Payback, and then it went to Coda. And after Coda, my character came back. How did my character come back? Don't ask me. I know I'm the fucking head of these films, but like, I don't know. My character came back. And Disarmed happens, and I make my stance as a person who returns. And then, Chicken Bone happens, and it's just another kind of insert into me living this life as a very dubious, sometimes a little bit on the run, but kind of out of control, just asshole who's going around and killing people. So that is the timeline. Moralia will take place at the end of this, and I cannot give a promising answer yet, because obviously if people reach out or people want to be a part of this or people talk to me, I can definitely work with them on a story that kind of fits it. But I don't think you'll see the Prick after Moralia. I think Moralia will be the end of the Prick. Does he die at the end? Does he not die at the end? Who knows? Oh, I'm not going to answer that question. But I don't think you will see the Prick again after Moralia. Moralia will be the definitive end of his story, the way that I see it. That's actually very interesting. I always like the level of ambiguity, not with the story, but with the character. Yeah, and I think that ambiguity will remain, but I want to explain his mindset. Something interesting that I've been doing, and you guys can tell me if this is pretentious. I've asked my cinematographer if it's pretentious, and he says it kind of works. I've been writing the scripts in first person as the Prick, in a way for me to kind of explore like the Prick's headspace. And I noted in the tweet, I'm co-directing it with Dalen, my cinematographer, because as I focus on the scenes with myself and my character, I don't want to be thinking too much about kind of the big picture of some of the bigger storylines. So I'm balancing that with him, so that I can focus on my character when it comes to moments where I really need to hammer it home, and then after that, he can kind of take control. So it's been really nice kind of going back and forth with him, and I've probably been burning him out a little bit, but that's part of it too, is trying to do something different. I haven't been a co-director before, and it's sometimes it's kind of nice giving up some of that control. Which actor would you want to meet / have a lengthy chat with? That's a good question. I know people, like, I know our friends' answers, Doug. I'm trying to think of my own answer. I don't know. I'm trying to think. My go-to is Tom Cruise, probably. Like, yes, he's kind of fucking crazy, but like, I want to see if I can find any explanation for that. I get that he's in love with the filmmaking process, and he grew up with these movies for a long time, and movies are the magic, and whatever he said at his Oscar speech. But I want to understand the real why of like do you have a goal? Is it just chasing endlessly until something happens and you can't do this anymore? I want to have that conversation of Tom Cruise because I do have a lot of respect for his work. I clarify his work. I have a lot of respect for his work, but I need to understand the why. You know, I don't think anyone 100% understands the why, and I want to try to figure that out from him. So if I had a lengthy chat with him, if I had him trapped in a room, that sounded wrong, but if I had him trapped in a room for like a long, like 2-3 hours, I want to see if I can pry that out of him. But probably by the time I try, he will have broken out and have dropped me out of an airplane and ran away. So. What other questions do you guys have? Ask me questions on here. Otherwise, I can pull up some of the Twitter questions too. Because Tyler asked me, what's my favorite Phineas and Ferb song? And I'm trying to remember like Phineas and Ferb songs. I can't really remember a bunch. I just remember some of the stuff from, if you guys remember the Adventures of Meep. Do you guys remember that? I watched that shit when that was coming out. And I was like, I don't remember what the song was from that, but I just remember liking that episode a lot. And it was kind of fun. So I need to rewatch more Phineas and Ferb. Also, oh my God, the whole thing with Ferb's relationship with Doofenshmirtz's daughter, the more I think about that, it's cool when you're watching it as a kid, I guess, but then it's like, huh? Now, like when you revisit it, it's like, what were they thinking doing that? That's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Vanessa, yeah. I thought her name was Vanessa, but I wasn't sure. And so thank you, Tyler. Your job now is to clarify whenever I don't know someone's name. Just tell me what their name is. Have you played any of the Assassin's Creed games? I have not. I watched some gameplay of Origins, and I thought, this looks cool. Probably never going to play this. And then I heard people hate Origins, so I guess I will never play this. I heard some of them are good. I always think it's really funny that the same director who was in charge of Macbeth, starring Michael Fassbender, and I think it's produced by the same people too. That same team that made Macbeth. It's a slow movie that just takes the script of Macbeth and applies it onto the big screen on the big screen as natural as it can. That same team just ended up going and working on the Assassin's Creed movie that everyone hates. So I don't know what happened there, and I think it happened within the span of like 2 years too. So I don't know. It's always been weird to me that like the same people who made that movie made the other movie. But Meep, that alien fucker. Do people not like Meep? I thought that was a thing. No? I remember watching this episode. It's a classic episode. Yeah. It's pretty fucked up, but I'm happy for Ferb, I guess. Yeah. Big emphasis on the I guess, Like, is he happy? I think he's happy, but is it weird? I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way now. But then when you're a kid, you're like, whoa, yeah, let's go Ferb. And then you're like, wait a second, that's kind of wrong. Colas, what's your most anticipating film for the rest of the year? What the fuck is coming out the rest of this year? I'm trying to think what is coming out the rest of this year. I don't know. Are we ready to go on a hunt to find out what's releasing this year? 2022 film releases. Upcoming film releases. Zoom in so you guys can see it too. I didn't realize Extraction 2. No, okay, yeah. Why is Spider-Verse on here if it's not even coming out this year? God damn it. Not Avatar. I'm going to say it now. Fuck Avatar. I don't care. I don't care if it looks pretty. I know it looks pretty. I don't give a single fuck. I don't like the first movie. I guess it's visually cool, and maybe I should rewatch it because it's been forever, but I don't care. Fuck these movies. I do not I don't care about a single character in any of these movies, and I think they're written very weirdly. It's just really, but the blue people come on. I know they're the blue people and they're real cool, but I don't give I remember watching the movie when it came out in like 2009, and I was like what 7 at the time, and I was like I don't hi out to this thing. I'm complaining about Avatar. I don't care. I don't I as a 7-year-old, that was the first time I watched a movie and went, that looked visually cool, but I didn't give a fuck about the story. And I didn't say I didn't give a fuck because I was 7, but that's what I was internally thinking, you know? And I watched the trailer for the second movie and I'm like, okay, it looks visually great. It's kind of insane that like all of that is CG. On a technical level, this is full of merit. I just don't give a fuck about the actual movie. I don't know. I guess I'll watch it, you know, but I'm not gonna watch it with like a tub of blue popcorn. I will watch the Percy Jackson show with a tub of blue popcorn. That will happen. I will watch it with a tub of blue popcorn, and I will watch it in the silence of my room. I'll probably here's what I'll do for the Percy Jackson show. I will straight up enter my room. I'll close my blinds. I'll turn off all the lights, and I'll sit there and I'll meditate for like an hour, and then I will watch the first episode, and then I will meditate for another hour because I need to be in the most spiritual and calm and composed state of mind when that show ends up coming out. Otherwise, I will blow up into 1,000 smithereens. I kind of liked this is what's blue popcorn? I don't know, put blue dye in popcorn, some shit like that. Maybe it turns out more green then, I guess. I know it's weird for me going, I don't care about Avatar 2, but let's go Enola Holmes 2. I don't know. I think the first movie was kind of okay. Like I didn't care too much about it, but I thought it was good. What are any of these movies? I don't know about like any of these movies. I haven't watched Bullet Train yet, and I really want to. I think I'm just waiting for it to come on digital. I do not care about Don't Worry, Darling. Wakanda Forever is probably going to be a good movie, and then people are going to forget about it. But assuming it's still maybe going to be a good movie. What else is coming out? 2022 movies. Huh. Yeah, I guess not that much. Okay, I will say this. This is then Glass Onion is probably my most hyped movie for the rest of the year. I think I have not watched the trailer for it, and I will continue not watching the trailer, but then accidentally I watched that sneak peek that came out today. And I don't know how I felt about the sneak peek. Honestly, I didn't feel great about it, but I don't care. I'm blocking that out of my memory, and I'm just going to go into the movie blind. I want to go into the movie blind knowing absolutely nothing, because that's how I went into the first movie. I didn't know anything about the first Knives Out. I just kind of watched like a little clip of it once, and then that was it. So I went into that movie blind, and I just watched it because it came out on digital, and I absolutely loved it. I want to do the same thing with Knives Out too. I just want to go in, and I just want to see what's happening for what it is. So I'm blocking out any trailers. I'm blocking out any press, any news, nothing. I'm just going to watch it for what it is. What else? There's not really a bunch of stuff really coming out at the end of this year. A lot of the big stuff came out. I guess Black Adam. That's what someone asked. Did I see the rated teaser Black Adam? I really love the joke that everyone thinks The Rock is the guy doing all the editing. I think that is fucking hilarious. That The Rock is going in, because didn't he say that? He said like corrected or something like that, as if he is the one who sat in the editing room. Where is it? Dwayne. Where are you, Dwayne? Where is Dwayne? Tyler, stop tweeting about Eternals. Don't do that. You're above that, Tyler. Where is it? Where is it? I love that he tweeted about the popcorn. That's great. Where is it? Yeah, he said corrected. Why the fuck did he say corrected? As if he corrected it? As if he went in and went to fucking YouTube to MP4 and then pulled the old trailers and slapped them into his Premiere timeline? No, he didn't. That was an editing team. Someone else did that because people were angry on Twitter. That's I don't know. It was funny. It was funny that he said corrected as if he did that. I was watching it before you streamed. Yeah. Well, good thing you're watching my stream. Is Eternals good now? Do I have to rewatch Eternals? I don't want to rewatch Eternals. I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I'm sorry. Bullet Train was okay, but I'll never watch it again. Oh, that's sad. Because I thought it was good. I thought people seemed to think it was maybe good, but then I guess I haven't really heard a lot of press about it ever since it came out. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is forgettable. I guess we'll see when I watch it. But yeah, the Percy Jackson teaser, dude. The Percy Jackson teaser is oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're gonna pull that Percy Jackson teaser up for a second. Percy Jackson. Not amazing. What isn't the worst movie I've seen? Yeah, it's not like terrible. It's just real slow, and I don't like the Indian Uncle offensive joke that they made. It just rubs me the wrong way. But aside from that, I guess it's a fine movie. I don't think about it enough. Yes, dude, the visual of the cabins alone gets me excited. Look at these like big hulking. Where are these cabins? Look at that cabin. That's something that you would. That's a really good application of what exists in the source material. You know, because like I remember reading the graphic novels and the way they depicted the cabins too. I'm like, it was a little extra. Like when I think it was the Lost Hero graphic novel where they depict Jason's like Zeus cabin as just like this huge temple. And it's like, I don't need that, but this feels like a good mix of like the homie style with you are entering a Coliseum, you know? So it's like, even from a design perspective, I really like the way that they're taking concepts from the book and still kind of making it their own, you know? And it's just like, where is that shot? That shot. There you go. That's Percy Jackson. He's not the Percy Jackson, but he is this Percy Jackson. And I'm very excited to see. I'm excited to see the changes. I'm excited to see how they take what was a really good book that might kind of exist a little bit too much in its time and revamp it for a modern audience, you know, but still keeping the integrity of these characters. So I don't know. I am very, very excited for this show. I also think that if it's not good, it will break me into smithereens. Because I don't know. This is bigger to me. This right here, this show will be a bigger deal to me than the Batman. It'll be a bigger deal to me than the Spider-Man adaptations. This character and these set of characters is more important to me than superheroes. So if it's bad, I will be very disappointed. So we'll see what happens. All right. Did I miss any other questions in here? Right. You want them to make it something fresh, but also follow the source. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what the Batman does, right? It's following the source material, but it is still a completely new story and new interpretations of these characters, you know? So it's like, I think you are allowed to revamp these characters for modern audiences as long as the integrity of these characters' personalities and like key defining traits remain. And I feel like you can still do that because they talk about this is a darker Percy Jackson. This is a more brooding Percy Jackson. I think you can do that. I think that's okay as long as you still keep a little bit of what made him Percy Jackson, which is, you know, his steadfast attitude and kind of his head weight and his arrogance to kind of like, I don't know, save his friends. You know, that's his fatal flaw, is that he will sacrifice anything for his friends. And as long as they keep that, and as long as they keep that identity safe, I think it could still be a good show, regardless of whatever the changes they do. You know, I'm not complaining about Annabeth's hair or Annabeth or Percy's hair, although they could have dyed it black, but they didn't. But that's fine. And like they have an Indian kid as Grover, and that's really cool. But that's all. That doesn't matter unless you get the characters right, and unless even getting them right, get them cohesive and working with the story they're trying to tell. I think that was kind of the big problem of even the adaptations, is beyond those movies not being relevant to the source material, they're just not good movies because like you don't have a pinpoint on who these characters really are. You know, Logan Lerman is just kind of playing himself, and Alexandra Daddario is also still kind of just playing herself. But these are characters. These are characters that need to be represented differently. And so as long as the show does that and it has some kind of identity to it, you know, it has a chance of being a good show. So I don't know. We'll see. Let me go back to the Twitter to see what people were asking me. There. Okay, this is also another still, I guess, from Moralia that I didn't tease, but like there you go. That's another little sneak peek of Moralia if you want one. This is your god and a huge one. Why are you streaming at midnight near late? Well, it's not midnight here. Look at this. Look at the sky. It's not dark outside yet, but it's kind of getting there. And I said I was going to go to the gym, and I'm not at the gym currently. So I should probably do that before the sun goes completely down. But yeah, see, it's not night. What are you talking about? Other time zones don't exist. But yeah. What other questions were I going to answer? CGI. Yes, I have the budget for a CGI window. God fucking damn it. That was funny. Also, I had this board that someone was throwing out, so I just like put it into my wall. But this area will be replaced with something else. So next time I'm streaming, I am horrible at like this. No. How do I move? There we go. This area. I do not know how to move my fucking hand in coordinates with something. But this area will be something else. CGI window, should I watch it? Watch what? Maybe I'm just forgetting what we were talking about watching. The Percy Jackson show? Yes, I feel like people should give it a chance. It looks good. We'll see when the first trailer comes out. The original movies, I don't know. They are movies, and like if you really, really love these characters, you're okay with being disappointed, I would say go ahead and watch them because I don't know. It's still cool to just see these characters represented somehow, right? In a way. So, I don't love Batman v Superman, but like it is still a version of Batman and still a version of Superman. And so if I'm feeling the mood for it, I might watch it again just for the sake of it. So I don't know. I feel like people are so religious about the portrayals of these characters, but at the end of the day, it's just like Batman is more than just the cape and the cowl. But when you put the cape and the cowl on, that is a version of Batman. You know, that is a Batman. So you can, if you enjoy the character, you might still see something in that. At least I will sometimes still see something in that. It's only when it's like offensively done, I think, do I really distance myself from it, you know? I'm trying to think of like Batman and Robin is not the Batman I know and love, but I still think it's like a fine, just quirky, dumb movie, you know? And part of that is because it's Batman. It's fun to see this like Adam Westy Looney Tunes Batman, but I don't know. It's Batman. It's a character. It's a character that I've grown and loved, and I've watched him contort over the years, which is fine. I feel like you'd only watch this movie just to say you watched them. Yeah. Yeah, you can just say that you watched them for the sake of it, you know? To remind yourself of what the books was about, so then you get disappointed and then you go reread the books. That's probably why you can watch it. All right. What other questions? I should honestly just keep this here as a page. Be like, ask me anything. Where's the Young Justice video? Fuck you. I haven't worked on it for like 2 weeks. I should work on it. I talked to Troy about this, where it's like they effectively canceled the show. Like they're not doing the 5th season, and I do in part shit on the show, you know, in this video. So it is very weird for me to shit on the show, and then also it's canceled. And I just feel kind of bad, you know. So I'm reworking the ending, and as long as I can find a way to rework certain parts of the ending, the video will happen, and I think it will happen within the next month or two. I just need to sit down and really go over what I've edited so far and go over what I've done so far and make sure it feels solid. Because that's the other thing is like I haven't felt the urge to do like a big video essay. You know, it's I think there are small things I want to do, and then there are other bigger things I want to do. Like when the Flash ends, I will make a video for the night of the finale. I will do that. I have promised myself that since I started this fucking channel, is I will make a video on the Flash when that show ends. The same way I did with Arrow. So like those things will happen, but then aside from that, there's not that like big push to make a specific video. It's just like a couple things that are ongoing that I've just like kept updating the scripts for. Plus I'm working on short films, and that takes up so much more of my time now than like than working on a video saying grinding it out for like a few hours a day, which I wish I didn't. But I don't know how many people really watch video essays anymore. You know, like there are the specific analytical videos. Like Doug makes great videos. Go watch For Every Kind of Geek. Like Matt Draper's kind of style of videos. And like sometimes people will come out with a video here and there. Like gaming video essays are like really big now, bigger probably than movie video essays. But those are passes that just kind of come and go. And I feel like not that the movie video essay community is dead, but it's not as prominent as it was before. That's just something that's kind of, I don't know, it's something that's kind of died down a little. Batwheels has Ethan Hawke as Batman, but Batman has Ethan Hawke as Batman, but what other A-listers would you like to see play kid-friendly takes on superheroes? I go back to Tom Cruise, but who would I want Tom Cruise to play? Tom Cruise Iron Man, but it's like kiddie Iron Man. That would be kind of fun, you know? What else? I'm trying to think of who else would be great as Batman. And like, I don't know. I think I want to see Brad Pitt do one of these, you know? I feel like Brad Pitt has the kind of voice to like come in and do like a really good, I don't know about Batman. A Brad Pitt voicing like a kiddie Superman, I think would be really cool. You know, that's my weird take. I think get Brad Pitt with his like very sultry voice to do like a Superman that's like a little bit too corny, you know, and pair that up with Ethan Hawke Batman. I think that would work pretty well. Maybe Jared Leto Batman. Fuck you. No. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. Most likely not. Definitely not. What other questions are on here? Am I going to play Elden Ring? If you give me a copy, I will. But also, on what will I play it? On my dinky 8GB RAM computer? Probably not. If I get a PS5, yes, I will get it for you, Cole. I will do it. How did you and Troy Boyo meet? I don't know. I don't know. It was probably like a fucking wait. I think the first time I ever talked with him might have been a Twitter Space. God bless Twitter Spaces. Jesus. I think the first time we ever talked was probably a Twitter Space, but I don't know. We DM'd each other like a while ago. I did grow up. I not grow up. That sounds like he's old. I'm sorry, Troy. I did like in like middle/early college. I was watching like a lot of his videos. You know, his videos and High Top and Mauricio and like a little bit of Nando V movies was like my go through. Just put on a playlist and watch while I'm like cooking or like working. You know, it's like. What the term cannon fodder is used for something here, or is like are these videos cannon fodder for my ears or something like that? I don't know. There's a term in which cannon fodder is used to describe this, but that's what they are to me. Is like just a lot of those videos were like I listen to as podcasts, and then some of them I would actually sit down and watch. A lot of Troy's videos I would do that. A lot of High Top's videos I would do that. So. But yeah, ask me more questions. I'm not going to be live for too long. I'm probably going to hop off in a bit, but ask me more questions. Coda questions, Moralia questions, any fucking questions. I do not care. I will answer them as long as you don't ask me to like spoil something. Oh, here's a question for people because I don't know how to address this. Has anyone been paying attention to Twitch drama recently? Anyone in chat? Has anyone been paying attention to any of the Twitch drama? Because it's kind of insane. Oh, my social security number is what's my social security number? I'll text it in chat. That's my social security number. There you go. I wonder if anyone gets that reference. Does anyone get that reference? Yeah, you're welcome. Do 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 do. But yeah, okay. So no one has been paying attention to Twitch drama. Am I the only one that has been watching Twitch drama? I can't get enough of it, and I know that's a bad thing to say, but like some of it is insane. You know, there's a lot of stuff specifically about like I don't know if anyone's heard of like the G2 thing that happened with like the Valorant team getting kicked out, and then there was some other stuff with what was the other thing with the Twitch pay cuts and stuff like that, because they did the big gambling ban, but then at the same time they just announced what people were hinting at for a long time, but then they announced that they're going to remove the 70-30 split, which is fucking insane. And it's just like it's Twitch is a PR nightmare, and it is funny that all of this shit is happening at the same time. And I'll say it. I watched Miskiv streams. I did watch a lot of Miskiv streams because they're funny, and he's a funny guy, and a lot of his jokes are pretty funny. And I don't know. I never watched him past like last year. I only been watching him for like a year and a half at this point. Probably since I think he moved into like the new house at the beginning of last year. So I haven't been watching him like in the past or like any of the other dumb shit he did. But like it's just kind of insane that like I watched the Gus and Eddie podcast and I love the Gus and Eddie podcast, and then all that shit happens. I watched some of the Lunch Club videos. I love Ted and Schlatt and all those guys, and it's awesome. And then the Carson shit happens. And then I watch Miskiv streams, and I like the OTK streams, and like Schooled, and all those shows were really cool. And all that shit happens. So I think I told CJ this or something. God bless whatever like creator I decide to watch next. They're going down. The only person that's been there since the beginning, Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves, best content creator on the platform. Best content creator on the platform. He will never get canceled, I hope. He probably will never get canceled because he doesn't upload enough to get canceled. Never just the hype from his because he's never been charming. Is sometimes it's funny. Like not all of his bits are funny, but you put him in the right setting with certain creators, and he works really well. Like the Disneyland stream he did was like that was pretty good. And like certain streams that you pair him up with certain creators, and he makes really good jokes. Like that's why I enjoyed a lot of his content. Is not for just him sitting in his room and playing Mario Kart all day, but like when he's collaborating with certain like people and doing content with them, I think it works really well. And I liked his shows. I liked a lot of the shows that they did because I mean, it is cool to see like this org because I watched OTK begin, and I watched like a little bit of SVan, and I watched a little bit of those creators, and to see them really grow and get a lot of money and rent out a whole studio and a bunch and do all this really cool shit is really cool. So I don't know. It's just it is kind of weird to see all this shit go down, and I've been keeping up with it like a little bit as much as I can, but I'm a degenerate who will watch a lot of these streams, but even I'm not keeping up with it. I don't know what the fuck is going on because something happens and the next day something else happens and the next day something else happens. And I know like old Twitch, I think was really like this with Mitch Jones, but it's just kind of insane that it's still happening and it's still going and the drama is probably still going. And I get that people are tired of it and I'm also tired of it, but it's also like, why the fuck is this still happening? What is the reason for like any of this? What's going on? And it's like, I think it's big mess, and I think the biggest victim of the situation is the one who like the victim of SA, and I think that needs to be said and that needs to be recognized. And I feel really bad for her and everything she had to go through and now what she is going through because of this. But then also the situation has not escalated, has gone past that, and all the tension has been drawn away from that. And then it's also been drawn away from the gambling shit, and now it's just a fucking chicken fight. I don't know what's going on. And I kind of don't care, but also it is kind of funny to watch people make jokes about it on Reddit. Because some of the jokes are actually pretty funny. You are Maya Higa is I the one chat that I saw that was like anyone who doesn't get this, and that's completely fine. I just sound like I'm speaking into a void. But the one comment that I saw that was like, "Train, you are not Maya Higa," had me like fucking crying at like 3 a.m. It was insane. But yeah, TLDR, you are Maya Higa. But yeah. That's my Twitch drama alert. I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I'm kind of glad I'm doing these streams instead of doing something on Twitch. I was going to try to do something on Twitch where I do like a stream every week on Twitch and I upload something. But I kind of like doing it here because it's nice talking with YouTube audiences who know like the stuff that I'm working on, And obviously I don't post that much on YouTube, but like Fanboy Talk comes out and like I'll do voice lines for like other people's videos, and I am working on shit myself. It's just I'm very slow and I'm horrible, and I have work ethic that's honestly worse than Bailey. And I love Bailey, but he barely posts, and so do I. I barely fucking post these days. I have a worse work ethic than him, and I think that's my biggest problem. But still, people know the stuff I worked on here. I think I haven't built a huge community, but I built a community, and you guys come into my chat, and you guys know what I'm doing. It's very hard to get that on Twitch, especially these days. When if you try to start streaming on Twitch, you are a nobody. You are an absolute nobody, and you cannot grow. That's how Twitch is built. And maybe it wasn't built that way originally, but that's how it's built now. So if you try going on Twitch and you just hit the stream button, you are never going to get views. Never. And it's like I don't know. That's not great for a platform, and I understand why that is, because it's live streaming. People who watch live streams need to be dedicated. That's why I'm very thankful for the 5 of you that are in. My view count shows up here because I'm up on the platform thing, but over here or whatever. I'm very grateful for the 5 of you that are in here because you guys are dedicated to watching my content, or the 4 of you that are in here. So it's like I understand why it is that way for Twitch, but also that's not great to have a growing platform. There's no engagement beyond dedicated viewers, right? You're not going to go and casually watch a Twitch stream unless it's just something you have on the background as, audio cannon fodder. So it's like it's this kind of thing where Twitch is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and instead of trying to meander their way out, they're just digging themselves a bigger hole. And it's probably going to get worse. And if YouTube makes the right decisions within the next, I want to say 1 to 2 years, they will take over the live streaming space very easily. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I just really hope that they take the whole, like the tabs, and they just make one for videos and they make one for shorts. And I know people have wanted that for a very long time, but I think it's high time they do that, because Jesus Christ, if they could separate out live streams from videos and make them 2 separate things, and if they could take shorts and separate that out from videos and make those 2 separate things, it would be fucking golden. Because right now, when you think of social media that isn't like Facebook, Instagram, like those kind of posts, even Instagram, maybe with Reels, but you think of like TikTok and YouTube and then Twitch, right? And Twitch has the biggest market share of live streaming space, and YouTube has the biggest, will never be taken over live space for video VOD content. And then TikTok has the biggest space right now, at least, for shorts content, right? And so if YouTube wants to be optimized and compete with, because they're competing with both TikTok and they're competing with Twitch, right? If they want to optimize that, the only way for them to do that, I think, is to divide out your shorts and to divide out your live streams. And that way creators will be easier to because that's why creators have YouTube channels, but then they also stream on Twitch. Creators have YouTube channels and they also do TikTok, or even like TikTok, they do TikTok live and shit. It's like, I feel like if YouTube is able to take those shorts and those live streams and just put them in two separate categories for you to watch as if it's still on the platform. It's just a separate little thing that'll make this platform set up to succeed beyond both Twitch and TikTok combined. But that probably won't happen for, I don't know, a year or two, but hopefully I'll still be around when that happens. I think I will. Jeez. What else is in here? Any other questions? Oh, I got a new question. Who's your favorite director? My favorite movie is 96, directed by C. Prem Kumar, but he's not directed a bunch of shit. It's hard calling him my favorite director. My second favorite, if not sometimes favorite movie of all time, is Mission Impossible, but I haven't watched every single McHugh movie. I think my favorite director probably is either Nolan, just because I find his movies the most rewatchable, or Richard Linklater on just the Before trilogy alone. If anyone hasn't watched the Before trilogy, I highly recommend watching those movies. Watch the first movie, wait like a week or 2 weeks. I know Brian told me once to wait like a few months, and I was like, I can't fucking do that. But I also sped through the entire trilogy. That was a mistake, but I still love those movies, like to death. I would say watch the first Before Sunrise. Watch Before Sunrise. Take like a week break. Watch Before Sunset. Take like a week or two break, and then watch Before Midnight. Let the time sit between these movies and watch those movies. Those are like the best thing to ever happen in indie filmmaking. So. Any other questions you guys have? All right, I might also head off a little early so I can get some shit done. Before Midnight actually didn't work for me at first time, but I watched it like a year later and loved it. Yeah, that's what I like. I do think of the three movies, it is on a technical level my least favorite, but not by a long shot. It's just my least favorite because the other two movies mean more to me, I guess, if that's weird to say. I don't know. It's like I have the Before Sunrise poster in my room because that's my favorite. Then that always will be my favorite. I know people love Before Sunset more. Before Sunrise will always be my favorite because it's this dreamland-esque depiction of what these characters could be without going that far, you know? Dreamish depictions of love are like La La Land, you know? That to me is like these characters meet, and yes, aside from the dance number and the musical number, it's like, oh my God, these characters are in love with each other, but more so they're in love with their careers and they want to expand their careers. That's what the story becomes. Before Sunset takes away the Jesus Christ. Before Sunrise takes away the dramatization of that and is so focused solely on Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke's character. That's all it's focused on, is on these two characters and where they are in their lives, right? And so I think the thing with that movie is just the way it goes back and forth between the two of them. It only focuses on that conversation and nothing else. You know, it's not focused on these characters individually. It's focused on these characters together and how they react to each other. Yes, they go on monologues. Yes, they depict the stories of their lives, but the strength of the movie is in how the character responds to those stories, right? Just the way that happens is perfect. And I think on a technical level, I can understand why people like Before Sunset more in a way in which it kind of perfects it. And there's more drama probably in those scenes, you know, and especially like the scene in the car is like fucking perfect. That is a beautiful scene that I don't think in 50 years will never be able to recreate something that beautiful. That scene is perfect. But also there's a charm to the calmness of these characters meeting for the first time and understanding that they won't see each other again, you know, that I think, I don't know, I'll always adore that story over the other story just because it exists in isolation like that. But then, yeah, I love Before Sunset too. I have a personal attachment to this one. And Before Midnight, I think works. I've rewatched it less because it's a more complicated movie, and I think it'll take me time. Kind of like you're talking about watching it a year later. I think I need to get there too, where I also will probably rewatch that movie maybe in like a few months or something, and then maybe I'll come to better terms with it, I guess. So yeah, I think it was where you're at in your life that matters when you watch the movie. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what Michael Reeves, but I mean, that's what he said about La La Land, where it's like when he was moving to LA, that's when he watched La La Land. And that just, it hits differently. You know, I don't think La La Land is a perfect movie, but I still have it in my top because I watched it at the right time where I was on the brink of deciding whether or not I wanted to like even try YouTube, you know? And I'm not the most successful YouTuber of anything. Look at my fucking channel. But it is the kind of thing of like, it gave me the courage to be like, no, okay, there is something more to this kind of thing about making content. You know, it's personally satisfying, and that's what matters more than anything, is that personal satisfaction. And I mean, as much as maybe Whiplash is technically a better movie, or Babylon might end up being technically a better movie, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I feel about Babylon. It's a lot. That movie looks like a lot, and that could be a very good thing. It could be a very bad thing. I don't know. I'm cautiously not optimistic or pessimistic. I'm just cautious. But yeah, La La Land, I don't know. It came out in that perfect time to give me that kind of strength, the same way I think it did for a lot of people. So that's why I still have that there as like my top, is because it was a very important. It was a very important movie to me. So it's kind of the same with a lot of the movies on this list. You know, I made Before Sunrise when I put Before Sunrise on this list as I was like about to start working. Like I was thinking about what to do after Coda. I watched Mission Impossible Fallout before I decided to start working on wait. Let me start with Mission Impossible. I watched Mission Impossible Fallout before I decided to work on like the deal and like all those kind of movies. I watched Before Sunrise before I started working on like the script for a couple things, and then I watched 96, this Indian movie, before something else that you guys won't know about for at least a year, but you guys will eventually know about. But you guys won't know about it for at least a year, which will be probably, and the reason it's my favorite movie, again, it ties into what I'm working on and how I think what I work on because of the inspiration that movie gave me will be the biggest thing I ever do. So, ooh, tease for something coming soon. Ooh, I don't know. No one fucking cares, but I don't know. It is a very important movie to me, and it's helped to rejuvenate my spirits to work on something that will, definitely be the biggest, most important thing I have ever done in my life. So, putting all my eggs in the same basket. Yeah, you're doing to Babylon what I'm doing to the fucking Percy Jackson show. But at least with Percy Jackson's show, I have more time. I can live in the spirit of optimisticness or whatever the fuck for the next year and a half. But you have to watch that movie this Christmas, ha 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 ha, and you might get disappointed, ha 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 ha. I don't know. I hope it's good, but we'll see. All right. I am probably gonna hop off pretty soon. I know it was a very quick stream, but I don't know. I have other shit to do. It's pain in the ass. I'm finishing my degree and I have like a class left, but I have projects for the class and it's a pain in the ass. But wear my Knives Out sweater too and make it an event. yeah, that's a smart idea. Tyler, you want to watch Knives Out with me? Knives Out 2 when it comes out? I want to. When does it come out exactly? Because it comes out on Netflix and theaters at the same time, right? Or is it like a week apart or some shit like that? I don't remember what it was. Something like that. Of course, he's watching fucking The Rock. If someone knows, let me know because I'm not sure. Yes, watch it with me. Thank you, Tyler. I'm gonna just straight up look it up. Potentially theaters. Knives Out 2. I keep calling it Knives Out 2. I know it's called scheduled to release in select theaters November 22nd before streaming release 23rd. Okay. So, I mean, I will watch it probably at least the 23rd. If it's around my area, I will try to watch in November because I don't want it spoiled for me. But we'll see. It's just straight up a pre-Christmas release, I guess. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah. All right. Any other questions? Last call before I call it good. Ask me the meaning of life. I know what it is. The answer is my ass. Haha. But yeah. Keep cleaning. Is good to clean. My fucking room is a mess. Oh Jesus Christ! I need to vacuum. I said I was going to vacuum this place today. Guess what? I didn't vacuum this space. So good for me. I was real productive today. Although I did get the script done for something, so I guess there's something to that. All right. Before I head off, I'm gonna check Twitter to make sure I didn't miss any other questions. I don't think I did. Okay. I do want to watch The Whale. I don't know when it's coming out, but I heard very, very, very good things. So we'll see. Mithy, how do you feel? Oh, here we go. You're asking the good questions right before I leave. Jeez. How do you feel like they're going to handle the rivalry between Percy and Luke? This is something that they could do really well, or they could fuck up. The whole lifeblood of, because again, this camera right now is stacked on all the Heroes of Olympus books. So I'm not the biggest like OG Percy Jackson fan. I'm a huge fan of the series that comes after. That was what I grew up with. But then I revisited those books and I learned to love them before I watched. I read Lost Hero, and then I read Son of Neptune, and then from that I was like, who the fuck is this Percy Jackson piece of shit? And then people told me, oh no, you have to read this book. So I went back and I read the whole Percy Jackson books. That's when I really fell in love with the story, fell in love with this universe. Then I watched Mark of Athena, and I fucking like basically almost fell to tears at the end of that book, because Jesus Christ, that is probably no, it's not my favorite book ever, because the next book is my favorite book ever. But those two books, Mark of Athena and House of Hades, is like the best double book, double novel like I've ever gone through. And it was over the span of like a year, obviously, but that was huge for me, those two books. And Blood of Olympus is a mild disappointment, but it's still a good book, so it's fine. But in terms, okay, I'm distracting from the point. I'm going crazy. The rivalry between Percy Jackson and Luke, I think they need to do it in a way that still feels like Percy, like kind of looks up to him. They're talking about this Percy being darker, and this Percy being a character who's a little bit more on edge. And I think that's okay, but he still needs to be vulnerable to certain characters throughout like the first, because this is episodic, right? So you have 3 episodes probably that will be just at Camp Half-Blood. You need to emphasize that relationship to show that he really trusts Luke, that he really like kind of believes in Luke and believes he's there to help him. Only then that betrayal can feel impactful at the end of the season, because people who watch the show will know that, but it's up to the acting and the scripting to sell that, That way, when you get to shit like Sea of Monsters, and you get to shit like what's the next time Luke shows up? He shows up in Titan's Curse, right? I think. And I think he shows up in Battle of the Labyrinth. Whatever. Whenever he shows up again, you need that kind of chance of you remember seeing Walker Scobell and the guy who's playing Luke. You remember seeing a kinship between these two characters. So as long as they do that, I think that'll work. I just sent the link for our to mod Arkham Knight. Perfect. I will look at that later. Thank you. Send it on like Twitter or something. I will see it if you send it on Twitter. Second question, in terms of actions, how confident are you in production? Are you talking about like my own productions? I think some of my action sequences are better than others. Me and Dalen have talked about this a lot, where it's like when we film an action sequence, if we're tired, it fucking sucks. And if we're not tired, we actually spend our time and it turns out really well. There's a small little action exchange that we filmed last week that I think turned out really, really well. It's very short, but like that's what I've been experienced with is those short action sequences that over the course of like 20 seconds, you show two characters struggling and then it ends abruptly. There will be an action sequence in Moralia that will be longer than that, though. There will be an action sequence in Moralia that, if I'm able to tackle it right with the people I'm working with, will be kind of like the biggest deal. Okay, there we go. That's a question that makes more sense. Sorry for going off about my own shit. Action choreography in the Percy Jackson show. I think it will be good. They are kids, you know, and that's the thing that you got to remind yourself of is they are children, and they cast kids, and it's like it's the Harry Potter thing over again, where you don't want to overstress these people because, you know, it's like they're kids, you know, let them live their lives. And I think that was the problem with the or with the Harry Potter show is this triad that was there in charge for what, like 18 years of their lives. Their lives kind of got ruined because of it, and then they've learned to kind of grow apart after that, you know. So I feel like, and again, bring it back to action choreography. You don't want to stress the fuck out of these kids. They're kids. Let them do what they want to do. But I do think, at least for the triad and for Percy Jackson himself, I do think they will probably prepare, and they will scale up the action from like just water. I do think there will be probably good action choreography, but they got the director from like the Muppets movies to do this. So I don't think the emphasis is gonna be on action. I think the emphasis will be more so on these characters kind of being like high school bullies to each other, which I think is good. I think that's fine. I'm, as long as the important moments work, I'm okay with it not being a full action series. You know what I mean? But done for Twitter. Perfect. I will look at this later. I think I saw it. Yes, I will look at it later. Which character do you feel the need to expand for the story of Sting? Clarice, probably. They don't do much with Clarice aside from the second season. I would like them to start with that in the first season itself. And I feel like they cast someone too who's not like a big name, but like she has had previous experience before, so that might be a sign of that. I also think you could, in general, do more with Grover instead of make him like a complete side character. Even the way he's drawn, like in some of the art, it's like, who is this like goat dude? And like, why does he always have a goatee? And it makes him look like he is older than 18, hanging out with these kids. I don't know. That the drawing of that has never felt right to me. So I hope that whatever they do, they kind of fix that a little bit. So I think do more stuff with Grover, do more stuff with Clarice. And yeah, I'm glad Percy's an edgy boy. All right, I do have to head off. I gotta go and call a couple people and get some work done. So here is what we will do. We will play the trailer for Moralia again. And then I will call it a night. Thank you guys all for showing up. I know I was a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to answer some questions and shit. Who is my favorite character? That's a good question. Ooh. I want to go to and say, like, default and say Leo or Percy. And I know those are kind of cop-out answers, but I don't know, probably Leo or Percy. I'm trying to think of other characters I really love from the OG series. But yeah, I don't know. I think basically Leo or Percy. I've grown to really like Frank. I feel like they should give him more to do, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna play this trailer, and then we are going to call it a night or a midnight if you are on the other hemisphere of the world. But where the fuck is this trailer in the first place? No, where is it? I am looking in the wrong folder. There it is. There we go. All right. Enjoy this trailer, everyone. And I will see you guys hopefully soon.
You're a prick.
Thank you all for watching. I will be back on the channel with probably, hopefully, a video essay. Maybe a short for something, but hopefully a video essay. And I will see you guys soon. Bye. Oh, fuck, I have to click again.